Hello, I'm doing a review for this book. Oh, I don't have a book. It's 2066, a personal memoir by Adrian Cattermole. This book was only available on Kindle, which meant I had to read it on a screen. I don't like reading on a screen, and I did find it irritating. This book is set 50 years in the future of when it was written, and it tells the story of Yannick Smith, a fairly successful member of a modern society. In this society, we see the further integration of computers into human life. We see the circular motion of supply and demand better developed, so that people have secure jobs and continuous shopping opportunities, although there are still issues to be ironed out. It has quite a strict social order, which is supposed to ensure the maximum benefit for all. It's a prophetic example of the technocratic state that we're sleepwalking into, although its directors are more benevolent than I believe ours will be. After all, you have to question, why supply everyone with secure, made-up jobs? Why not just have less people? 2066 lays out a society where most people are strated. This means that over time, as they perform at work, they gradually move up the stratas, which allows them more perks and more cred. Cred is the digital currency of the day. In this modern vision of the world, there is almost full employment, although about a third of people are on the lowest rung of the system, and about 5% of the population do not conform. They live outside of the system, surviving off rubbish tips and the crumbling remains of the previous age. There is also a thin strand of society for whom the rules do not apply. Sound familiar? I felt there were a lot of similarities between 2066 and Brave New World. 2066 was like an updated version on that theme, which went a step further than Brave New World was able to. 2066 discusses our complex relationship with computers, which consists of both habit and hatred. We can see today how people are addicted to their screens in a way that is quite frightening. More and more people are losing their ability to interact with other people. Just assess that statement again. We're losing our ability to interact with other people. Screens are a global addiction, and just because everyone is hooked on them, does that really mean we should keep diving headfirst into this not real reality? A lot about the future of 2066 seems plausible, although I had to question whether we will need screens everywhere, as they are in this book. People are already getting chipped. Seriously. I didn't believe it, but I checked it out. Mainstream reports only. It's real. Hook that up to your phone and you can hook it up to your payment app or get it to produce a hologram, and you can do away with the phone altogether. Elon Musk is working on brain chips. Yes, seriously. Again, it's the same end point. It ties you even tighter to your phone. Fucking great, right? Just imagine for a moment if there were no screens, not a single one. Our first instinct would probably be, how will I survive? But then think how much time we would have on our hands. What would you do with all that time? We would find it difficult to spend so much time indoors without screens for entertainment. We would have to go out more, see more people, speak to them, do things, think things, be different people. Just think of all the extra hours we would have to achieve our dreams. In 2066, technology has developed enough to allow humans and computers to conjoin. Unfortunately, many people in our world think the idea of humans and computers conjoining is more exciting than terrifying, and it looks to be the direction we are being herded towards. 2066 also covers the problems of where we get our information from. Can we trust the news? Can we trust the alternative news sources? When we don't know what to believe or what's real, when we have to question whether everything is manipulated, it can feel as if we're living in a darker age than ever before. People may have always been lied to and had information manipulated, but when we're so aware of the techniques used, it can become impossible to feel justified in any beliefs. It was quite a long journey for Yannick Smith, from dissatisfied yet successful member of the modern strata system to runaway and reb, and finally conjoining with the supercomputers. This book was quite long, probably longer than it needed to be. Although there was a lot in it, it took a number of twists that I hadn't expected. I felt that the book became a bit repetitive in the middle of it, particularly the interrogator, and Yannick became a bit of a whiny character at times. I found this book cynical and depressing at times because of its accuracy. Make no mistake, this is pretty much where we're headed. And despite the protestations that it is all to make people happy, it is really to keep people quiet. There is no such thing as egalitarianism when you organise human livestock. If we don't get there, it won't be for the lack of trying by our dear leaders. The only difference I can really see from 2066 is that our real leaders are nowhere near as benevolent as the ones in the book. So 2066 was an enjoyable look into the possible future of our society. It was written with humour, although it had a pretty terrifying conclusion. It left me with a lot to think about. There's a lot to consider about where our society is headed, and a lot to think about in relation to our world right now, the real world, the world which is slipping like sand through our fingers. Okay, thank you for listening.